My dear viewers, hello and welcome to a new episode of our program Culture Magazine, during which we bring you the latest cultural events that are taking place in Egypt. Please stay tuned. The Cairo Opera House plays a significant role in the cultural movement that is taking place in Egypt. Please stay tuned.
Maintaining to build bridges of intellectual communication and cultural exchange between different countries, the Cairo Opera House, in cooperation with the Turkish Embassy in Cairo, organized a concert entitled From the Bosphorus to the Nile, presenting a program included a selection of Egyptian and Turkish compositions in the form of chamber music.
It demonstrates unification of two nations. We have a great past common history where we share a lot of times and a lot of events which let us be proud of our past and our history. And as an Azerbaijani, as ambassador of Azerbaijan, I feel my closeness to both culture because we are part of the Turkic big culture, but parallel to that, Egyptian culture is also very close to our heart. It's also very close to heart of the people from Oriental world, where all of us grew up based on music, stories, histories about Great Pyramids, or about Istanbul, or about the Land of Fire, which is my country. So from this point, yes, it's very interesting, and I appreciate this kind of events. Unfortunately, nowadays, it's not too much things happen in the world which make us proud and make us calm, while culture is specifically a sphere where we can find some peace in our heart, in our mind, where we can come, forget about these difficulties and problems of the world, heal ourselves spiritually on a high weight, also enrich ourselves culturally, enrich ourselves from our inside. So it's kind of a charger for our life battery, which allow you after that feel yourself more closer to the history, to the people, to the country, to the entire world, to the ideas of humanism. We are planning to have a number of events in Egypt. Most probably it will be the second part of the world, since we are approaching to the very hot summer. But parallel to that, it's worth to mention that this year Azerbaijan hosting COP29, which is one of the biggest events of United Nations, and its cultural part, it also will be there. And we expect and we hope to see a lot of people of culture from Egypt who will travel again to Azerbaijan, but this time to take part on this huge and very important event of universal scale.
tonight's concert has been very different and difficult to get the music all together, but was our idea for this concert is to make the bridge between the two cultures that had similarities between the culture, the people, the food, and the music, of course. So that's we have been planning for the different compositions, and it has been arrangement for our quartet. I hope the audience have been in love with our performance as well. It's our pleasure really to play for young Egyptian composers and our friends also, and so they are really very good composers, Egyptian composer like Dr. Rageh Dawood. It was our honor to play his composition, and also Ramz Sabri. Sami Sabri and Shadi Hanna, and of course Gamal Abdurrahim is our legend of the composers, what they have been composed for the Egyptian culture. Actually I didn't think about, but maybe. But I think I am now focused with my viola playing and my working, and maybe in future I will think about it. Look, our main thinking and main path is the culture and the art, and with these tools we are working to make the culture and people and music together near from each other, so that we can, like tonight, so we have been performing the Turkish composers and the Egyptian composers. So the people that they live in Egypt, they maybe they didn't hear a lot of Turkish composers that they have been composed for classical ensemble. So, and the same, it has been international audience tonight. So the same. So it's our goal is to connect all people and many culture all together in art, and that's our main idea.
I'm part of the Blumen Ensemble, which has Dua and Suzanne, flute and viola player, and I'm the violinist, and there's Muhammad Ahmed, the cellist. And yes, it was a pleasure for us to be playing works by prominent Egyptian composers and contemporary Egyptian composers. We were lucky to have two of the composers in the concert, not on stage. They were listening as part of the audience, and we were happy to play for them. And it's a special occasion. We don't always get to do this because as classical musicians we play for composers who were from a different era, so we don't always have them around to listen to us. But it was such a pleasure, and it was a chance for me to discover how many amazing ideas us Egyptians have in the classical music scene, not just Western music as well. And we also, yeah, for the Turkish compositions, they were also amazing. I was exploring and discovering actually a different flavor in music, and it was such an amazing experience for me. Despite all of the experiences that I've had, this was one of the different and special moments for me. It was really an experience that I will not forget, and I hope that we will be able to play this concert again in many countries, because I think this will touch or relate, many people will relate to this concert, Middle Easterns and Europeans alike. I played the contemporary music before. It's part of our studies to learn contemporary music by composers who are alive today, and so it was not like it was easy for me to understand, and I played for Ragah Dawood many compositions before in the orchestra, because I work in the orchestra and we play sometimes Egyptian composers' pieces. And today we also played a piece by Rams Sabri. It's called Mostly White. It was I find it really interesting, and I think I'm going to be interested in playing more of this contemporary music, because it has opened a lot, has opened my eyes a lot for this kind of music. You can never stop learning. I mean, as a musician, there will always be something new for you to tackle and experience and discover, as long as you're alive.
From Bosphore to the Nile concert featured a selection of Egyptian and Turkish compositions in a form of chamber music, another great proof that music is a universal language and that culture can build strong ties between different countries. Shurou Bikir, Cultural Magazine.
The camera of our program is always going after the cultural events that are taking place in Egypt. Let's watch the following segment.
The Cairo Opera House, in collaboration with the Embassy of Ecuador in Egypt, hosted an exhibition entitled Egypt and Ecuador Unite in Art, which was held at Salah Tahir Art Gallery Hall. The exhibition included 46 artworks covering multiple topics, executed with a variety of materials, including oils, acrylic, watercolors, lead, zinc, silkscreen, printing, and black ink.
The idea of this joint exhibition was to bring together two countries, two nations, through the culture. Art is a soft power, super relevant for international relations, especially when two countries are very close friends, are Egypt and Ecuador are in the international arena. The idea was also to show in Cairo and in Egypt all our traditions, our ways to interpret our costumes, our life, through the art and our colorful art that we can show to the world. We have very, very important painters in this exhibition, as well as the Egyptian lady, Liliane Boutros, actually is a young, very talented painter. So we are somehow not mixing or confronting styles, but melting the styles and doing in such a melt process of a one voice and one message of that culture brings together people and countries. Everything is possible since this is somehow the first experience that we, not only as Ecuador, but also as a Latin American country, having in Egypt for a long time. The idea that I was actually tackling with the new Minister Assistant for with the Americas in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Egypt, we just this morning about this, the opportunity to have this kind of exhibitions, kind of these activities, to help each other to know better about both sides of the relations between the two countries or between regions. For me and for Ecuador, we attach very, very much importance to the art and the way of the interpretation of art can bring together with another people, especially because since it's a soft power, the influence of art brings the best of a certain culture, in this case Ecuador's, and of course Egypt public can enjoy and see the beauty of this interpretation and this exhibition. It's very difficult to explain very shortly, but I want to try to do that. Ecuador, as you well said, is a very colorful country with huge contrasts, but mostly our nature is unique, even though that is territorially speaking and a small size country, less than 300,000 square kilometers but includes Galapagos Islands, it includes jungle, Andes, the Andes Cordillera, Andes Highlands, and the coastline. And every single region has a different way of interpret life, has different gastronomy, culture. Is a super mega diverse country, even though the small size of this territory. That is our richness that I want to show to the world. So that is the first effort. We are very competent and competitive, especially in agro-industry. We are #1 in a lot of products on exportations. We are #1 exporter in the world for bananas, for tuna, for flowers, for shrimps, tropical tropical fruits, and as you will say also in the banner, chocolate. Chocolate is our insignia right now, since a few months ago was discovered scientifically that territory was the first to domesticate. Our natives from Ecuador, Amazon, in the Amazon jungle and the highlands, were the very first to domesticate cacao tree. and make chocolate. So somehow Ecuador, for instance, is the country of cacao. And that is the contribution that Ecuador has to give to the world, and very proud to do so. We share among our guests tonight some samples of cacao, Ecuadorian chocolate. Well, we have another amazing products like coffee. Coffee is one of the best. We are not the biggest producer, but our production is the best. Arabica. And some other things that we are doing, not only in our industry. That was saying just the idea is to be a powerful industrial country, but we do much more than that. So we are here in Egypt to share. We are in Egypt to complement each other, to cooperate, to strengthen our friendship as countries and as citizens, and look forward to get better and better and making more robust our bilateral relation.
This joint art exhibition was held in the occasion of celebrating Ecuador's National Day and to reflect the bilateral and strong relations between Egypt and Ecuador.
Culture here in Egypt is always playing a significant role in preserving heritage. Let's watch the following segment.
The Cairo Opera House displayed the masterpiece of the international music composer Tchaikovsky's famous classical ballet, The Sleeping Beauty, which is presented for the first time by the Cairo Opera Ballet Company, accompanied by the Cairo Opera Orchestra, led by Maestro Ahmed Farag.
So it's already around 2 years that I was thinking about Sleeping Beauty because it is part of the trilogy of Tchaikovsky and Petipa. I mean Swan Lake, Nutcracker and Sleeping Beauty. And in our repertoire it was missing Sleeping Beauty, but I was a little scared by this big production because it needs a lot of dancers, a lot of rehearsals, a lot of costume and everything. Then I found out that the Sleeping Beauty original is 4 acts. So I thought that it was impossible to present 4 acts with 3 entr'actes. The public will be not annoyed, but it will be too long for nowadays. So I make a montage, and we are going to present it in only 2 acts. The story is all there, all the characters are there, and just it's a little bit shorter respect to the original. First of all, I had to make many cuts in the music and unluckily even in the choreography, because I am using the original choreography of Marius Petipa, which is the best and is performed in Russia by the Mariinsky Theater and indeed even in all the operas in Europe. And of course I give some touches in the dances like the valse, like the polonaise. But I respect very much the style of everything. And the characters are all there. I couldn't cut any characters because it will give no meaning to the story. And I like very much the story, and it's very joyful at the end and dramatic in the first act, because of course Aurora, she's picking her finger and she's dying, and then the lilac fairies say no, she will not die, she will always only sleep until a prince will give her a kiss and she will wake up, and this happened now in the second act. But of course I had to be with him for the cuts of the music and also for understanding the tempo, because each dancer has a different tempo. The soloist, the corps de ballet, and we are not using the same tempo of the partitura or the symphonic partitura for orchestra. And Maestro Ahmed Farag was doing an excellent work, because even for the orchestra it's the first time that they are performing. So it was for everybody very new, and we are enjoying to make something new for the Cairo Opera House.
This show was designed by the late Marius Petipa, where the story revolves around the little princess who's plotted by an evil witch to kill her with a wound from a spinning needle. Despite the precautions of her father, the king, the trick succeeded and the girl dies instantly. However, some good fairy sympathizes with her and turn her death into a long sleep and link her awakening with the appearance of a young prince who saves the Sleeping Beauty. Tchaikovsky's masterpiece, The Sleeping Beauty, is the ultimate romantic ballet that is based on one of the most beloved fairy tale stories of all time. It has always for its lavish production and the variety of dances and moods. This ballet maintains to be the most popular and frequently performed ballet all over the world. Shuruk Bikir, Cultural Magazine.
Well, with this, my dear viewers, we come to the end of this episode of our program, The Cultural Magazine. I hope you've enjoyed being with me. Please wait for me in the next episode. Until then, it's goodbye.